Hello, fellow survivors. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Synergy. Episode 2, Exploring the Wasteland. Now, if you're wondering why I'm keeping the person in the field laboratory hired, it's so that the district is provided with the knowledge. So if we take a look at the district again, the district has a certain amount of points. And I know my head's in a little way, so I'm going to hide myself for a second. If you take a look here, you can see what you can build in this district to improve it. So for instance, if this district had 10 resilient plants in it, it would go up by 100, or by 10. If we built a foundry, sand extractor, or sand factory, at least 2 of those 3 things, it would go up by 150 points. So this is the sphere of influence that I was talking about with the district. So for instance, our district wants to be around certain buildable objects, and every district has its own unique requirements. So the display district wants the kitchen near it, and also a cutting station, weaver workshop, or forge. So I already have a third of the requirements because I did build the kitchen within it. And then this district also wants a cellar and small warehouse around it, and a water tower. It does not have the starting stock, however. That would have increased it more. So in this case, if I wanted to get the 50 points, I could build a secondary warehouse within the range of the district, and it will increase the district's points by 50. And I might as well do that. Warehouses don't cost very much. It's a pretty small investment if you ask me. And we can have a secondary warehouse if we end up with a lot of extra stuff. And as a result of increasing our district level, we have unlocked district tier 1 now. So, there are benefits that can be gained. In this case, I believe it is the number of positions in the districts +2. And then you get social max, science points max, and eventually storage building capacity as the districts improve. There we go, we got our dishes. Housing satisfaction. Faced with toxic water and prickly plants, it seems inevitable someone will get sick sooner or later. Many citizens are wondering what will happen, what will we do if this happens? Fear and insecurity can be as lethal as any illness. We've seen it in the past, entire families deciding to take their chances alone in the desert, only to be vanquished by isolation and end up beneath the sand. To reassure our citizens, we should build an infirmary, assign a doctor, and demonstrate our new scientific knowledge. Housing satisfaction is divided into 4 categories: well-being, social, culture, and knowledge. Each category provides specific bonuses to the city, such as upgrades in construction, production, or research. Satisfaction increasing plants and buildings apply their bonuses to housing within their range. Also, to provide bonuses, buildings require assigned citizens. Don't forget to assign someone. So this is why I had someone stay in the field laboratory, even though we're not analyzing anything. Because they are providing science bonus to the surrounding houses. And I'll show you that in just a second. Each bonus has a tier, 1, 2, or 3. Satisfaction improvements provided by bonuses are capped according to their tier. 1 is capped at 10, 2 is capped at 20, and 3 is capped at 30. Superior tier bonuses allow you to reach higher values and may replace inferior tier bonuses. Consult the satisfaction heat maps to see the most suitable places. Consult the building details in the construction menu to see which will have an impact on well-being, then build these. So, it wants us to reach a knowledge of 4 in the city and a well-being of 8, which we've already done. So the knowledge of 4, if we mouse over it, is because the houses here are within the sphere of influence of the field laboratory. And then the well-being of 8 is a result of a whole bunch of factors. And if we open up the heat maps, does this tutorial give me heat maps? I don't think... oh, no, it does. So here is the well-being heat map. Houses built within the well-being of 10 are, because we need a well-being of 8, are going to benefit. So you can see that because of the shade trees, mostly these well-being are like following the shade trees. So like this shade tree, for instance, is providing a well-being of 5, and then they start to overlap and gain bonuses. And there's a bunch of heat maps here. So these are housing satisfaction, so all the houses are equally satisfying. It falls under one district. Everything has water distribution. I don't have any social because we don't have like cafes or sitting areas or culture. Here's our knowledge heat map. So because of this field laboratory, and as you can see, it's not the research center that isn't counting. The entire sphere of influence of the field laboratory is adding the 5 knowledge required to this area. So every house that falls under that sphere of influence is getting the 5 knowledge required. So if I built my field laboratory down here, I wouldn't be filling out these housing satisfactions. Then you have shadow. And in this case, shadow is good for the most part because direct sunlight is ouchies. So the shadow, in this case, basically follows the sunshade tree map, right? Like everything within a sunshade tree is shadowed. Ambient temperature. So the cooler it is, the more comfortable it is for the most part. Generally speaking, people want to be cool in this game. I don't believe there's a game mechanic where they get too cold. I could be wrong. And then humidity. And humidity more affects, like, if you're trying to spread seeds or something like that, where it's going to be best to grow crops that want moisture versus crops that want dry soil. So there's some plants, for instance, like the petrified giant, which you could assume, given its name, it wants to be in dry soil. So as you can see down here, these cinder cones, or cinder sprouts and petrified giants are in particularly dry soil. So not that we've done the analysis for them, but one might assume that the dry soil allows them to thrive. And if we try to plant that and do humid soil, it would not do so well. And then inversely, the riverbank fingers being only growing on the riverbank might need proximity to water or moist soil. And that's something you can analyze more later on. Organic matter is a little bit complicated, but basically that's also about plant requirements. Plants need a certain temperature, humidity, organic matter within the soil to thrive or maybe die. Same with minerals. So the last 4 of these, a lot of these humidity, organic matter, and minerals are more about the ecosystem and less about the individuals trying to survive here. All right, so we have our infirmary coming, right? Did I not build that? I was too busy with other things. Oh, and let's turn off the views tab here. So, infirmary is over here. I haven't actually researched it. We need one more research point. We get 2.5 per day, so there we go. Healthcare is now available. And if we take a look at our display square, we can see whether or not there is going to be a bonus to having an infirmary nearby, and I don't believe there is. So we don't necessarily need to put this infirmary within the sphere of influence of the district, just within the sphere of influence of the houses. Meaning, oop, that's the wrong building. Also the wrong building. Where is the infirmary? It's over here. Meaning, we could put it over here, outside of the district if we wanted to, and as long as it covers the houses, it's fine. In this case, I'm still going to put it within the sphere of influence of the houses anyway. I'm going to drop it right there. Julian, thank you for the resub. Cheers. If we wanted to prioritize this, at the moment there is someone working on it, so it's not like I need to prioritize it, but it would be P or clicking this up arrow. So if I had like 20 construction projects and I wanted the infirmary first, this would be the way to do it. The infirmary provides complete treatment for all of the sicknesses that citizens can suffer from. However, treatment duration and remedy quantities may vary. When a citizen is being treated, they can perform no other tasks. Ideally, it's always better to keep your citizens away from harm. The infirmary allows you to select what sicknesses to treat. Assigning several doctors allows you to simultaneously heal a greater number of citizens. Some cures require remedies. To produce the latter, you must build a pharmaceutical factory. So, for instance, if you take a quick look, wound treatment does cost poultices. Exsanguination, which is more serious wounds, is more poultices, intoxication, so on and so forth. But things like weakness and atrophy do not require treatments, but they do take a very long time to recover from. Avoiding these conditions is better. So, like, you shouldn't send your villagers out to pick a bunch of prickly plants and get a bunch of wounds, because then a significant portion of your population will be laid up within the infirmary. And what was happening just there, if you caught it, was they were moving the medicines from the starting stockpile to the infirmary. So they were hauling the medicines in to be stocked. The world beyond. The citizens have noticed a strange phenomena. A luminous dot, blinking chaotically, only visible at night. They fear it could be a distress signal. Numerous volunteers have asked to investigate it and organize a rescue operation, if need be. Let's select some explorers and equip them for the trip. Exploration. Building an explorer's hut allows you to send explorers on an expedition. The further the destination and the more the explorers you send, the more rations you will need to take. Also, explorations can be dangerous, and explorers may need to take difficult and potentially risky decisions. Then again, exploration is worth it. Exploring the world allows you to meet other human beings with whom you will be able to trade resources or will sometimes join your city. You may also discover new species of plants to introduce to your environment, obtain technological artifacts and other resources, or even find tablets containing precious information. To get started, find a tablet and use it to unlock a research project. So exploration missions, we need one more science point for. That keeps happening, so I'm going to stick a third researcher in there. Okay, now that we have that done, where is the explorer hut? Here it is. And I'll put it right next to our research building. So it wants me to explore any destination and bring back a tablet to decipher to gain a research project. Additionally, not that tutorial is pushing me to do it, but let's see about making our city a little bit nicer. So for instance, placing 5 shelves, domestic cisterns, mobile workbenches, or community boards will improve our town by just a little. So here's a cistern. Cistern. We'll put a shelf. And a shelf. And then a mobile workbench or community board. So we'll do a mobile workbench right there. So those 5 projects will increase our district quality by 50. Didn't take very much. Another one would be street lamps, signposts, playgrounds, etc. So some of these things might be locked from us because of incomplete research projects. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's how you would go about doing it. So open the exploration map, which is V as in Victor, or clicking this button. The world map is divided into regions. Exploring one will display its destinations. Each region offers a major reward held in one of its 3 destinations. The starting region always holds a tablet. The tutorial only contains 1 region. So there is an antenna, and a camp. Let's go to the antenna. I can choose, I think it's forcing me to only do 3 people. Oh, 3 min, 3 max, yeah. And then we're going to send the expedition up to this antenna. And what we want to do is we want to assign them resources so that they can safely eat. And if I assign more resources, they can fulfill their satiety even more, potentially going to 2 destinations before returning home, or 3 destinations if I had more meals. The other thing is you don't want to overload them, because maybe they find resources and want to come home with it. So if you fill them up with a bunch of food, they might not actually be able to take what they find out on expedition. And then once we hit start, 3 of the non-employed citizens that we have are gathering resources and then being sent out on this expedition. It's still in preparation phase. And it looks like they are missing simple dishes. So let's increase the amount of cooks in the kitchen. I have a lot of available citizens, so I'm going to just double my kitchen staff. It is officially the first day of the 2nd cycle, and 2 children were born. And a reminder, children are born based upon the satisfaction that we have. So my houses here have full well-being and knowledge satisfaction for tier 1, but no social or culture. The tutorial hasn't pushed me to do that yet. And there we go. The explorers are now sent out on expedition. So if we open this up, they're going to be traveling to the antenna. And once they get there, I'll get an update from their mission. So despite the tutorial not pushing me to do it, I think what I'm going to do is build some additional infrastructure within our city. So I'm building a pharmaceutical building, which I don't even think provides well-being for us, but it will allow us to make medicine. This rocky emanation creates the rocky amalgams. Think of it as like a solid stone eruption volcano type thing. So we're going to pick those out as they regenerate. And here we go. Fossilizer. A storm is raging. With close to no mountains around, the explorers are forced to risk the lightning, or exposed to the risks of lightning. Searching for shelter, they follow tracks left by previous travelers and reach a tower equipped with a lightning rod. Lit from the inside, the building arouses the group's curiosity. We enter. The scientists enter a round hall, at the center of which lies a dome. A complex formula is carved on a nearby stone slab. It seems the central dome is a machine intended for condensing plant matter until it fossilizes and becomes mineral. However, it requires a live storm and a large quantity of supplies to be activated. So, what will we choose? We can fossilize food or fossilize plant matter. Unfortunately, what this will do is it will unlock trades in the bartering outpost. So in the future, we can send like sauropods to become rock, for instance. And I'll have you guys choose. Choice, top or bottom. With that in mind, I will say, thumb on the scale, we have a lot of sauropods. We don't have a lot of anything else. So the top option allows us to fossilize sauropods if we have an excess amount of sauropods and not a lot of rock. The other options are less important or less ideal for us because we just don't have those resources. Okay, and it looks like you guys agree with me. After half an hour of treatment, the food dehydrates and turns into mineral deposits. I didn't find any tablets, so explore a new zone. We'll explore the other antenna, because I did bring meals for 2 expeditions. So there's the pharmaceutical factory. And if we open up our tutorial here, let's go ahead and unlock public spaces arrangement. We have the science for it. So, the display square here would benefit... Let's see. Actually, it really doesn't benefit from any of these, but the citizens do. So I think what I'm going to do is put an outdoor lounge here. I'd like it to cover all of the houses. So I'm going to move this house here and then put a public lounge there. Well, actually, this public lounge requires fibers. Never mind, I can't build that. I'll build a table and a serpentine bench. 2 of them to cover both sets of houses. So this is some well-being benefits. Just as something to do as the explorers explore. And the reason for this is if you see the well-being bonuses here, we can't social bonuses. We're approaching the tier 1 social bonuses as a result. So we're not quite there yet, but fulfilling these social bonuses would give us a cooperation bonus of 5% per citizen of construction speed and production speed. So there are measurable bonuses filling up the needs of your citizens. So they really should not be ignored. Let's see. I think for now I will maybe leave the rest of the research alone for the tutorial to bring up. Now, at this rate, my kitchen is going to run out of seeds pretty soon, unless I keep ripping out these river fingers. Some of the river fingers, as you can see, have regrown. We don't know how that process works yet, because we don't have the science. Light strands. In the bed of what had probably been a strong stream long ago, the explorers follow the luminous signal after they spotted from the city. That leads them to a cave entrance. Although the cold coming out of the cave appeals to the thirsty travelers, it forebodes something strange. Once they enter the cave's narrow entrance, their path stops, closed off by a rectangular slab. The interstices on both sides are lit in a rather chaotic way. The rays of light seem to persist in the air and on the dust. What could this slab be hiding? So, again, another choice. We can force the opening, or use some water to discover the passage. So, forcing the opening, it doesn't have an associated cost, but using some water uses the water. Interestingly, from our original community, we have 184 of it. We can use 20 of it, and that's what you guys want to do. All right. The explorers freeze and hold their breath, listening to the water seeping into the cracks and cavities of the cave's ground. Using echoes to guide their actions, they discover a side passage. The tunnel has obviously been dug by human hands. Some tools lie on the ground, apparently abandoned by their owners. The party collects them before carrying on their exploration. So, we gained 20 tools from that last choice. There is a vortex in the middle of the room, with a glow that provokes headaches. A metallic contraption forms a perimeter around the whirlwind, but it's hard to guess its use as it seems to be out of order. One of the explorers introduces a tool into the vortex by fixing it to a rope, and the item comes back unharmed. She asks for permission to explore the inside of the vortex. The explorer comes out of the vortex, her face and body marked with blue symbols found on the tablets. She seems suddenly filled with new wisdom. We gain 20 tools and the tablet, and I'm going to now return to the city. We wouldn't have enough resources to do that, to do the campfire anyway. Cheers. So the explorers will be home pretty soon. I'll just fast forward time for them to return. As you can see, the satisfaction of these housing is going up as a result of the benches that are built, meaning that our children rate would go up as well, provided there's empty houses for them to move into. Your citizens have returned from their expedition and brought back new trade routes unlocked, a new tablet, and 20 tools. So if we open up the research tree here, in the research tree, tablets allow you to unlock specific research projects that are otherwise unattainable. They also can be they can also be used to gain many science points or heritage points. So we have a tablet, which is indicated down here on the bottom left, and we can decipher it. And this tablet allows us to unlock the science for heavy burden, increase the overload capacity of citizens sent on explorations by 20%. Basically, we can carry more. And that's done. District bonus. Each district must contain certain buildings and plants to increase its development score. Reaching a new development score threshold allows you to unlock bonuses which can then be applied either to the district or the whole city. Some bonuses are essential to help evolve our city, such as increasing the maximum threshold for well-being, knowledge, social, and culture, increasing the maximum threshold for legacy and science. Build a district of each type to maximize your score and unlock these bonuses. So what this is saying is, in order to increase your score, which is up here in the top, 1050, building a bunch of different districts at all max level increases essentially your score. A high development score also allows us to welcome more citizens into the district. However, if we exceed the overpopulation threshold, it means the time has come to build a new district. And that requirement was to have a district of 350 points, which I've already done. So it instantly completed. Our community, which seemed doomed not so long ago, is thriving once more. Despite all its hazards, the world is no longer seen as just a menace. It is also viewed as an open door. Still, everyone is aware that at the slightest sign of complacency, our infrastructure could become overwhelmed by the unexpected. And by our community's growing demands, we must improve our understanding of the natural world to predict it, despite its unpredictability. Fortunately, we are not the only ones facing this challenge. A new group is aiming to recreate bonds between isolated camps and share humanity's knowledge. We need to follow in their footsteps. So, I didn't score very high because, again, I was just dutifully following the tutorial. Not that I'm trying to go for like max score or anything, but we did that in 1 hour and 6 minutes. And the faster you do it, and the more score you get, as you can see, my score was 1050 up there, the higher your points are. So the score is saved when the objective is reached. It can be improved. It can improve until cycle 40. So basically, if you want to just continue playing, it isn't exactly a time trial. You can build up and build up and build up. But what I'm going to be doing is trying to play through the scenario, meaning that I'm less interested in trying to maximize my score and more interested in trying to get through the story. But if we wanted to, we could continue at this point. But we're done with this tutorial mission. So let's go back to the main menu. So this is you've got Sandbox, which is free mode, and you've got two different stories, the Firestorms and the Anchoring. I think the next would be the Firestorm story, which should be prompted at the end of this tutorial. Okay, I'll start a new Firestorm then. Last resources. A group of volunteers has set up near the springs of Backhelen to supply the village in the area, but their stocks soon find themselves depleted whenever the heat wave comes, and the water distribution systems is struggling to match up to the task. And I'll be playing on balanced mode, which is hard mode compared to the harmony mode, which is easier. And let's get this going. Willing shoulders, all alone, the last children of mankind, or so they feel. The well of their hope has now run dry, just as their lakes and aquifers did long before. With their backs against the wall, several villagers sent representatives to search for water in the province of Backhelen. Heavy is the burden that weighs on our shoulders, for without us, our homes won't have so much as a single drop to drink. After a long journey, we finally found an area where hot springs are plenty, but we still have to build a station capable of treating the water. We must first lay the groundwork, otherwise we won't build anything at all. So if you need to replay the tutorials, they're up here in the top right, telling you about the different game mechanics. And we know from the tutorial that the best place to start off, generally speaking, is to build a district that implements the shade from the shade trees, as it is cooler. Now, in this case, we can also open up the... Oh, I need a field laboratory for that. So here's the shadow map. And I can put the founder square maybe right here. On top of that, we'll probably want to pick our cabin pretty early on. And then we'll probably also want a field laboratory pretty early on. But I would like to have the founder square fully built so that I know the sphere of influence that it will offer. Regardless of that, I think it's pretty safe to say that we're going to want houses pretty much immediately. So let's go ahead and lay out... We have a population of 14, so lay out some initial houses so that... everyone has some shelter and we can start fulfilling their needs. Okay, build a founder square, have a housing capacity of 24 or higher, so we need more houses eventually. Water tower and a cellar. So let's work on the basics. I'll build a cellar right next to these bushes. A water tower somewhere in between where the water is and where our people live. So I'll put it here. And then having a water tower just alone isn't really going to be enough in the long run, because we are also going to need to collect water, which we'll work on in a minute. So this is, oh, you know what? I didn't actually want the cellar there. Let's stop that before we deliver the resources. The cellar I'll build next to the water tower. Here, I wanted the picker cabin there, but we're not building that quite yet, because that's not what the tutorial calls for. And it wants me to add additional housing capacity. There we go. And all those new houses also fall under the sphere of influence of both the water and the tower and the cellar. There we go. Willing shoulders done. Perform 5 surface analysis, have a pontoon within range of the water tower, and build a research center. So let's start with the field laboratory. And much like before, we want the houses to benefit from the sphere of influence of the field laboratory. I will place this here. Then it wants a pontoon to collect water within, you know, close to the water tower itself. So that seems pretty good. We'll run this road up there. Like that. And then eventually, once we have some of the surface analysis done, we'll be able to unlock the research center. Of course, our research tree is currently locked because we don't even have a field lab. So field lab, I'm going to fill it with people, because we're going to do a lot of surface analysis right off the bat. So we'll do the bushes, the shade trees, and every other plant within close radius. So they're heading on out. Once the pontoon's done, we'll be sure to start collecting water in mass so that we can supply water. The water tower at the moment only has 100 clean water, which is also up here, as you can see. So we're going to want water ASAP to be able to satisfy needs. And the first port came in. Again, it's the Diluvian bush. It hasn't changed from the tutorial, so it's the same sort of benefits. Thank you for tuning in to Synergy, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow survivors of this alien wasteland.